Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Sacred Willow Reiki Healing. This is Romula coming in for our 28 days of Reiki. We are on day 12, okay? We just finished doing day 11, which was a focus on digestive fire. And this time, we're going to be working on heart expansion, okay? This is our 5th day out of the week. And one, I want to say thank you so much for following me on this journey. Thank you so much for allowing yourself to receive Reiki, but also thank you for being a part of my own journey. While I'm sharing these days and I'm beaming Reiki to you all, I'm also receiving Reiki, but I'm also giving myself Reiki before these sessions as well, just so that I can work through my emotions and things like that, and then be able to give an example of like how this journey is relevant to what's going on in my daily life and how much I really need to focus inward so that I can grow outwardly. Okay. So thank you so much for being a part of this. And you guys watching, subscribing, sharing means the world to me. So thank you. Now with that, I got my little handy dandy pad over here. Again, this week has been mostly about activating and expansion because we've been in the waxing moon phase, right? And so with the heart expansion, our bodily focus is obviously going to be our cardiovascular system, right? Where the blood flows, all of that fun stuff. Our emotional theme is compassion for others. Compassion for others. And I think that speaks volumes. A lot of times, we have compassion for the ones that we love and things like that, right? Or compassion for ourselves. But we don't necessarily have compassion for others, especially if they're a little bit different or whatever. You know, you're like, well, that's not my kind of thing. And so I may not want to be a part of that. Or, oh, I can't have compassion or love or empathy towards other people. But you can have compassion, have a heart. Understand everybody goes through their own trials and tribulations and their own experiences. And as much as we want to think that our own personal issues are the only things going on in our lives, other people are also going through things. So showing some compassion to another individual, you never really know how much it's going to affect them in the betterment of themselves. So let's try and work on that today. Compassion for others. Our Reiki focus is expanding love with boundaries, okay? This is very important. Expanding love with boundaries. Sometimes we can give so much love to other people that we end up giving up ourselves, right? We end up not being able to fill up our own cups. We end up loving so hard that we end up losing ourselves, right? And we can love, but we can also have boundaries. We can have boundaries for the person that we are loving, but we can also have boundaries for ourselves. How far am I willing to love this person? How much is that being taken away from me in loving that person, right? So really sit down on that, you know? How do you expand your love, right? Without, I guess, lack of a better word, sacrificing yourself. Sorry, my hair is like all over the place, so I keep touching it. So while we're receiving Reiki today, obviously we will have a mantra and stuff like that, but let's think about compassion for others. Let's think about expanding love with boundaries. And then our moon energy is approaching fullness. Approaching fullness in terms of approaching your fullness. You as that individual who's pouring into their cup. Okay. So really it's about opening your heart without losing yourself. I have been in some very difficult conversations in the last couple weeks about this, about giving so much love, and how do you do that without losing yourself? How do you not start melding into the other person and start, you know, not pulling away, but moving back so that you can have your own clarity, right? Sometimes we can love so much that we don't realize that we're putting ourselves in a cloud, right? And that as much as everything's great, you have to look at the habits. You have to look at the changes. You have to be like, hey, was this really like what I should be doing? Like, should I really be pouring so much into this? Because now I don't even know who I am. Okay. So it's really just learning how to open your heart without losing yourself. And, sometimes you have to have those difficult conversations. And sometimes you really have to sit down with yourself and see where this love and compassion is going. If it's filling you up while you're filling that other person up, right? So it's difficult. You have to navigate. But at the end of the day, you have to take care of yourself, and you also have to have those boundaries. And our mantra for today is, my heart is open and protected. Ah, that's another resonating moment. My heart is open and protected. Alrighty. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. I just wasted like 6 minutes of Reiki time explaining all these interesting things and stuff like that. But I felt like it was very important for me to share these things. So with that, let's go ahead and focus on our breath. As we know, our breath is our leading method into bringing us into relaxation, thus tuning us into this beautiful universal life force energy known as Reiki. And as we know, Reiki lives outside of time and space, so it will flow where it needs. And this is the beautiful Japanese technique that helps promote relaxation and rejuvenation. And we're going to have our focus on our heart expansion. Expanding our heart to be able to be compassionate to others, being able to expand love with boundaries, okay? And also opening your heart without losing yourself. And our mantra again is, my heart is open and protected. 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 We are expanding our heart with boundaries. We are having compassion for others. And the one I always forget. And we are opening our hearts without losing ourselves. It's exactly what this is for. Opening our hearts without losing ourselves. My heart is open and protected. My heart is open and protected. If any thoughts come to mind during this time, focus back on your breath and say again, my heart is open and protected. Allow Reiki to flow. Feel the unconditional love radiating from Reiki over you, filling your root chakra up to your sacral, solar, heart, throat, brow, and crown. Allow that energy to spill over and recycle back into you of golden white energy, feel the warmth, feel the unconditional love, and feel your heart being filled. Expanding your heart with boundaries. Having compassion for others. But opening your heart without losing yourself. Allow Reiki to flow. Feel your heart expand in this moment. Feel it reaching, grasping for Reiki as Reiki flows into your heart with that golden white energy, that beautiful warmth filling you up, the unconditional love to help open your heart, but also to have those boundaries. Let's see, forgot the mantra. My heart is open and protected. My heart is open and protected. But I'm also leaving space for compassion for others, right? Expanding love with boundaries. Feel that love. Feel it flow through you. My heart is open and protected. My heart is opened and protected. Say it one more time. My heart is opened and protected. Thank you so much for joining today on day 12 of 28 days of Reiki. Again, today was based on heart expansion, and we are in the week of the waxing moon activation and expansion. And our fun little Reiki fact is that distance Reiki is introduced at level 2. So if any of you guys are curious about becoming Reiki practitioners and you want to be able to send distance Reiki, check out my website, www.rawcreations.com, RHAW, creations, CREATIONS.com, where I'm going to be doing Reiki trainings. So if you're interested in becoming a practitioner and would love to do distance Reiki like I do, check out my website. Sacred Willow Reiki Healing is hanging out there at Raw Creations. So if you're like, I want to do distance Reiki, come and get Reiki 2 certified with me. But again, this is a healing journey. So let's get through our 28 days before we jump the gun. Alrighty? Again, thank you so much for joining. We will be going into day 13 tomorrow, which is the emotional body. Again, also notice the correlation. If you look at the first week and the 7 chakras we worked on, and now we're here on these 7 days now, you can actually see correlation between the chakras as well as our themes for this week associated with those beautiful wheels. But anywho, not to take up much time, stay safe, stay blessed, and peace out, y'all. Till next time.